Welcome to Dawn Patrol, morning weirdos. Today, propositional tyranny in the TLC. What the heck does that even mean? Let's find out together. Stick around, this is gonna be crazy.
What up? So the reason why I was so eager to do a live stream, this may or may not work out, primarily because I'm going across the state. So I might hit pockets and this becomes a disaster, which is fine. But I had just finished the estuary friendship conversation, and God, man, like I wanted to stop so many times to get my thoughts together, and that's why I'm doing this, because I had so many thoughts, so many, you know, uh, things I wish I could have interjected into that conversation, to ask questions, to bring something up. But so this is my attempt to do that. And I didn't write anything down, so this is just going to be how it's going to be. Um, I think what was fascinating to me is that there was a lot of, let me start off with what I do remember, and then go from there. What was fascinating to me was we were talking about, let me do something real quick. Copy. Everybody's going to hate me. All right. There. I'm not pinning it because I'm driving. So, and I'm going to get in trouble probably by somebody. But I wanted to make sure I drop the link in case somebody is listening and they do want to jump on or whatever. So the deal is that I was thinking about C.S. Lewis and how he had a friend, and he was writing these letters. And I was thinking about Luke had shared that video with me about, like, if somebody eavesdropped on these letters, they would be like, they're completely gay. And it is funny, and I do see how there has been a shift. The other thing, though, what was fascinating to me was that we have a weird understanding of friendship, and maybe it is um, the new generation, and because this is all they know, right? The connectivity, the readily availableness of me being able to call somebody anytime I want, if they're available, whatever. I could talk to anybody. I could send them a text message, whether they wanted me to or not, and they can read it whenever they want to or not. But I think that the biggest thing to me was, and I remember when people were talking about friendships in the TLC, I kept thinking to myself, what is wrong with you people? Like we're getting to know each other. Of course we're friends. Now, yeah, okay, you could argue what level of friends are we really? Obviously there is level of friendships, and all these Greek versions of our expression of love come into play at some point, right? But the thing is that, think about what C.S. Lewis was doing. He's putting his heart on paper, and he's sending it, in some cases, over an ocean. And it gets to him by mail, the friend. He reads it. So, like, they're not even in the same city sometimes, right? But yet these friends are staying friends. They're developing friendships. Why? Because they're communicating, they're talking, they're sharing their heart and bearing their soul to each other. Now you could argue what level it is. I don't know, but yeah, if I'm interacting with you every single day, you could argue that I would have a better knowledge of you as a person, perhaps. But like Luke was saying, with his dad and that generation, my dad's generation, just because we interact with each other every day doesn't mean you know my deepest heart, right? So, but there may be somebody that does, that isn't somebody I spend all the time with. And I think that's why it's so interesting how people can um, can become like the six people you spend the most time with. Now, back to the TLC. There are people within the TLC I gravitate to more than others, primarily because maybe they share my thoughts on things. Maybe they, when they push back, they're not hostile to the in their pushback process. I can see the love. I can see the genuine desire to communicate with me and understand me. So like those people, right? I'm a little bit more drawn to because I can sense their openness to want to dialogue with me, right? So then I was thinking about Henry and what he was saying, and experiencing a really close friendship is a really powerful thing. I honestly, um, I believe that to be true. Now, here's the thing: have I ever experienced it? Maybe, maybe I have and didn't even realize it. Maybe somebody did invest in me, and maybe I didn't even I couldn't even comprehend it because I wasn't mature enough to receive it. And maybe I was a poor friend and I just totally disregarded it. I can't say. I don't know. Can't. But I know that I know that I had a problem with wanting people to like me also. And so when I found somebody I really liked, I was like, oh, this is my best friend. And there would be times that they'd be like, dude, I probably wouldn't call you my best friend. Which is like, I mean, I remember being younger going, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like it was like this, I took it as rejection. It doesn't matter. He was more balanced than I was. It's like, whoa, pump the brakes. We're we didn't even get to the deep stuff of life, or I you don't know me as much as I would want you to know me to classify you as my best friend. Now for me, because I am so open, because I am a lot more maybe dangerously vulnerable in a lot of aspects, and I'm growing in that. I don't share my testimony with everybody. In the TLC, there's probably only four people that have ever heard my testimony, and I've only done it in either in real life or one on one, just the two of us, and it wasn't being recorded. Um, so to that level, I would say they know me really well, right? Do I know them that well? Maybe not. It doesn't matter though. To me, I have moved the bar up that I've known them enough that I feel I can trust them. Whether I made a mistake and didn't know them well enough, well, that's to be determined. However, the value of all of these relationships to me is great. Like I can relate to what Luke was saying about the coffee shop thing. I have local people, and they have busy lives, and even if they spend time and set time aside to get together, how much time are we able to spend together, and how much time am I able to really commune with them? An hour at the coffee shop as a coffee thing with a bunch of people, right? It's not as intimate, right? Or one on one, that's another thing altogether. So anyway, I related to what he was saying in the sense that I would much rather talk to the people in this space in the TLC because they share the same likes and interests and conversations that I like. So I can actually find some really valuable friendships in this place. One, through like interests. Two, through the desire to commune and communicate and get to know each other, the desire to actually do that. Now, in real life, yes, there are some people that I can sense that they have a desire to get to know me, and we may pursue that and have a deeper friendship. Um, so there is that. I'm also older, and people my age, for example, are usually married with kids, and so like there's a whole nother dimension to their life, and I respect that. Even ones that I have phone numbers with, it's like I'm not going to blow their phone up like they're a single person that stays up late all night. Um, so anyway, I was thinking about the C.S. Lewis thing, this whole IRL thing. Like I am all for in real life. I definitely think it matters more. I think it also matters the most with people that literally were avoiding the IRLs out of fear or whatever, because this is like a space that's a great stepping stone to get into those interactions. However, there's people that have met in real life and don't regularly see each other and interact with each other. And what happens, right? They still have a relationship. They still communicate. They still talk. So that like the distance thing or the lack of in real life thing, I don't think that's the thing. And that's why I dislike when what we're doing here is devalued. And I know that's not necessarily a literally crapping on the whole thing. I'm just saying that the minimization of what we're doing online, this is our medium, this generation's medium. And what we're doing, maybe it's the newest thing that this generation can conceive of because it's the technology that we've been given and where we're at. It's not letters. We don't have to wait long periods of time for us to happen to have one of our friends come into town. We don't have to do that. Why? Because we can jump on here and do our thing. And that's what's so great. And some of my friends can be available, some of them can't. Some of them might want to pop on, and I can even talk further with them, right? If they're inspired to do so. And that's cool too. You know, it's just, I love that we even have these conversations because there isn't really anybody locally that likes to dive this deep into these things in general. So, does that mean all my IRL people, in real life people are um not good enough? No, it's just they don't share the same likes that I like. And so when like I remember when I got into seminary and started doing I got involved in a cohort. These are people that really like talking about this stuff. And it's like I found my people. And then I tapped into the TLC and I'm like, wow, this is really cool because it's not just this, it's also this. And, like I found another group of my type of people. So it's like finding our people, whatever, and so like I think it's so much more special than that. So like, I don't know, to define the friendships we have in the corner, to say, this doesn't mean anything or this does mean something. I don't know. Okay, that's where you're at, but just recognize the impacts that we have on each other's lives, I think is important. Um, like we were talking, like people were trying to explain to Chad, dude, whether you may see yourself one way, but there's a lot of other people that see you differently. And you've impacted them, you've meant a lot to them, and you need to just accept that and be cool with it. It shouldn't add pressure to anything you're doing because these people like you just the way that you are. That's what's so awesome. And if and they recognize you're maybe not going to be the person that gives them a call randomly and has a conversation, but guess what? When you do a live stream and they're notified and they tune in, that should be a clue to you that they do love the things you do and the things you have to say. So I'm using him as an example. I hope he doesn't mind. I'm just using this as a thing that, you know, you will never fully know the impact you have on anybody, I think, not until we see him in glory. Because I had mentioned this to, I think it might have been Teo. I had talked about the song, Ray Bulls, Thank You for Giving to the Lord. Now, some know it, some don't, whatever. But the bottom line was It was like two people walking in heaven, and one person came up and thanked them for what they did and how they impacted their life and brought them to Christ, or got them one more chain link in the closeness to Christ. And then another one, and then another one, and then all of a sudden there's a line as far as the eye can see. Each one touched by your generosity. And then at the end of the song, it's Jesus coming up, you know, and there's this emotional climax to the song where now Jesus is saying, thank you for giving to the Lord, you know, and it's like that is the thing, right? That is what I tried to explain to people that think all we care about is getting to heaven. Yeah, we care about that. But it's when we get to heaven, the glory and being able to know that you were part of something that was for the Lord, not for me individually, not for some jewel in my crown. Okay, fine. Maybe I do get a bunch of jewels in my crown because I'm so great. But at the end of the day, they talk about this as a symbol of us taking our crowns off and throwing it at the Lord's feet. Like this is all for Him. That's the point. It has nothing to do with the treasures I'm going to have in heaven, because when I get to heaven, I'm going to have some big ass mansion. That's not to me what it is. So, for the ones that aren't necessarily Christian, for the ones that don't fully grasp the Christian mentality by and large, that's what it is. It's about our relationship and our connection, as they said, to the vertical. That was my next question. It seems, maybe I'm wrong, that when people in the corner talk about the vertical, I don't know, it seems like there's more levels to the vertical, like almost a hierarchy maybe, in the vertical. And that's not how I see it. When I hear horizontal and vertical, and maybe this is my Protestant formation, but when I hear the horizontal, what I'm hearing is everybody alongside of me that's down here, and I'm in a relationship with them, and it's all horizontal, right? But I think it was Ezra or somebody had said the vertical, losing that vertical, like the whole idea of the vertical is, to me, it's me and Christ through me, through the Holy Spirit, outwardly working in the horizontal from this vertical plane. So it's like there's a singular component with me and God in the vertical that transcends like a prism out horizontally to all these people I'm interacting with. And if I'm seeing them truly the way God sees them, as the image made in the image of God, then they're able to see that light reflecting through me, as shattered as the reflection is, as imperfect as it is, that I'm able to somehow put on display the joy and the love and the beauty that He shows me and gives me. And sometimes He's showing His glory and love and light through me, even in my worst, when I'm not even being loving to somebody. Like somehow something happens and whatever, but someone saw something through the ugliness that affected them in a way that was incomprehensible to me. Like I've gotten off the phone with somebody and I'm going, whoa, that was a conversation. I don't even really remember everything I just said. I know it was good. I know it was heartfelt. I know it was the Holy Spirit. Like there was nothing in me in that conversation. I was a vessel. Again, I wasn't a robot. I wasn't some Muppet, but God used whatever was going on in me, stirred something from my past, something I could share, something I could relate to with what the other person was saying, whatever it was. And I got off and I was like, wow. And again, that might have been just for me. I don't know. Or maybe it did impact them in a special way that, again, I'm lost to. Like I can't exactly see what effect it had on somebody. So I do obviously love Neil bringing up favorites. Um, and again, we have such localized understandings of these words. We talked a little on the morning show on B's stream, Seeking Genuine. She had Al came on and we were talking about the definitions of words and how we really do get tripped up on how a translator translated it. So it's like, okay, they're not perfect, but they did, a lot of people collectively, not one guy, did the best they could with translating a word to convey the point. So like they talk about thought for thought in one translation, word for word in another translation. You should have a multiple translations. If you have the time and you're passionate enough to learn the Greek, it gives you the idea where you can see how they translated something and why enough of them shared the same idea and why the translation mattered. You can even do a deep dive into why they chose a translation that they did or a meaning that they were trying to convey. But like the idea of hate versus love different, the idea of uh, fear and how that had a totally different context. Like we put all this baggage on a word, and or what was another big one during the women in ministry thing was submission, or authority. I mean, like, golly, I know for me, submitting and authority, like, I don't like any of those words. Why? Because of something that happened in my life. And so it's like, okay, if I can take my baggage, set it down, look at the definition of the word, not necessarily today's definition per se, but look at the definition of the word and how it has evolved over time and see what maybe people were meaning. That's why looking at a Greek word is kind of cool, because it kind of gives you an ability to tap into a little bit of the past and see the different ways it can be used and how often a particular author used it. Did they only use it this way? I think that's cool if you want to do that sort of thing. Do you have to know these things? No, you don't. But it is cool. It's special. It gives you a little bit more of an insight beyond just the close interaction to what has occurred when you read scripture. So anyway, I think that's the reason why a lot of people dislike maybe sola scriptura, because there is all these nuances to translations and things like that, and context and stuff like that. But even people in my own tradition can read a book or a verse or a chapter, whatever, and come off a completely different context. And unless they sit down and discuss why they've understood things the way they've understood them, you're never going to get anywhere. It doesn't work in debate, because debates are really more about winning over the crowd. Winning over the debate has to do with how well someone came off. And it doesn't mean the old school rhetoric, when people studied rhetoric, for law or for whatever in classical times and modern times, like, there's a value to rhetoric because it helps you communicate. It helps you convey what you're trying to convey in a very a very understandable sense. That's why I'm probably the worst person in the world to tell a story, because I am a painter, man. I mean, it's relevant. What is it called? Relevance realization. Sometimes I don't have a lot of that, so like I'll build the story up before I even start the story, and that's just kind of how I'm wired. Now, sometimes it works out. Sometimes people really appreciate the way I painted the picture or drew the paint and painted the painting or whatever. And sometimes it's people like, I'm tuning out. I got I can't deal like this. And that's fine. You're just wired different. I'm not going to crap all over you because you don't enjoy seeing it that way. And likewise, there are people that are painters and poets and artists that when they talk, I'm like, okay, I I need it more bullet pointed. Because if in order to understand this, I need it to be more specific. I need to hear differently because it's too abstract, or it's too metaphorical, or it's too there's so much other things going on to the thing, and I can't connect the way your brain's connecting. And again, there's nothing wrong with that either. I don't crap all over them because they're painting differently, you know. So I don't know. Back to friendships, I think that's the greatest part about friendships is because when it's all said and done, you're going to gravitate to people that you understand, that you can communicate with, that are able to, even if it takes them time to spend with you so that you can understand them. You know, the longer you're in a relationship with people, you better understand where they're coming from, even if they didn't verbally communicate it with you as effective as you would prefer. Why? Because you do see how they live. You do, you know, like you might not be able to intellectually connect totally, but you can see, well, this person, look at how they are helping this little old lady at church every week, or look at how this person is always showing up, or look at, you know, all these different variables ultimately get you to know a person better as well. But it's all not singular. It's a collaboration, and I don't think it has to be one over another or a collection. I think it's a collection of so many of these things, um, and so it isn't binary. You know, it isn't this singular way that we can know the know, right? The knowing, the wisdom, right? So, you know, I think that's why so many people talk about skin in the game. We talk about that in the TLC, like people that are willing to actually jump on and risk the interaction, and why that's so important. Or when we hear people that I love deeply in the TLC, um, that just won't, they're not going to church. They don't want to go to church. Like that's just not, they're not there yet. They're not, you know, maybe they can't, whatever it is, whatever the barrier is. But the encouragement to continuing to show up, to continue to go, is the only way you're ever going to get to know those people or build any kind of relationship. Will it be the same kind of relationship we have here in the TLC online? Maybe not, but it's going to be something, and it's going to be special. And so if you don't believe that, the one of the greatest commercials they used to have on a Christian radio station I had heard was just painting an example of the evolution of de-churching. And it was like, I think it was a husband and wife talking, and like one Sunday they're like, "Hey, we're going to church today." "Yeah, let's go." You know, the next Sunday, "Hey, are you going to church today?" I really got this thing I got to do, whatever." "Okay, we're not going to go to church." Next Sunday, it's like another excuse. And then you fast forward with enough of the excuses, and then, you know, "Hey, you want to go to church today?" And it's like, "Nah, not really. I don't really know anybody there." And I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like the more I'm disconnected, it becomes easier to not engage. So now it's like, okay, the flip side of that, I really need to start engaging. So it's like if the TLC is the space, great. You know, if you know whatever it is, you've got that stepping stone, but it is a stepping stone. It's just one step, you know, it's just one stone. You know, like the whole idea, if you're really trying to beat and conquer the meaning crisis, I would think it would be to see the value, the meaning that you have through other people. And if you're not able to break that wall of being able to see your value through other people, you know, talking into your life, thanking you for something you did, or you thanking them because you got to see them trying to help you, you know, and encourage you or push you or, you know, challenge you. It's like it takes time for you to be able to look back and go, that dude, if he'd never pushed me in a very uncomfortable way, I would never have this job, or I would never have met my wife, or I never would have, you know what I mean? Like there's so many aspects to, like, you have to let the time play out. You have to invest in it in order for you to see the account full and look back and realize, man, that $5 a day in my bank account has morphed into a preposterous amount of wealth that I'm able to do something with. So I guess, that was my thoughts on friendship and the value of the TLC and the people that are in it. So, whatever. I mean, again, I don't take any offense if somebody doesn't want to call me their friend in the TLC. I'm fine with that. I've, I've grown to the point where none of that stuff matters to me. It doesn't bother me in the least. Did I add you to the stage, Mark? Are you in?
I'm in.
Cool.
I don't know if I have anything to add. The conversation with B earlier was so intense. I just want to do fart jokes right now.
It was awesome.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't let
like
me
the fact-
interrupt your monologue. Just keep
No,
going.
I'm done, brother. That's why I
I'll
dropped the
drop a
link.
fart joke in at some point.
Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that. I can live with that totally. Uh-oh. Incoming. T.
I keep meaning to ask Teo, are you a bus?
What you call me?
A bus. I have young children, and there was this cartoon bus called Teo. It always amused
yes,
me.
yes. I've been made aware of that cartoon bus called Teo many times. Yes. So
Sorry, this is my equivalent of fart jokes.
that's an acceptable one. Yeah. I remember for like 2 weeks when that show first came onto Netflix, I would just get screenshots from a friend. Like, oh, you congrats, you made it. Well done. All of those. Yeah. Those were good times.
I'm just in the stupid mood.
I just came on.
The conversation.
I found myself drawn into going back and forth with Claire, and being on screen means I don't have to pay attention to Hive Mind, so I can ignore her. That's why I came on.
I wasn't even watching it. It's awesome. And I think sometimes I have to jump into I have to mind just to the chat and I have mine. Sometimes I'm like, I don't really have anything to add. Well, whatever. I just need to get out of the hive mind. It's like, it's just going to be healthy for me.
Yeah, I'm usually good at ignoring or treating Claire the way in a proper place, but I started talking to her as if she was a real person, and that was a mistake. So
We're going to keep loving on you, Claire. Damn it.
I'm going to keep loving on Claire. But it's like she willfully misunderstands like my substance.
oh no, I brought Claire to the screen. I'm going to change the topic now. Mark, what's your weekend looking like? Beautiful.
Say again?
I said, what's your weekend looking like? And I really enjoyed the dog in the background, just chilling.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Let me just. There we go. I've been working today. Then we had a power cut, and I just gave up. And now it's beer o'clock, so I'm just chilling like the dog.
Are you still at your
Jeff? Jump on.
Are you still at your wife's parents' place?
We're in no, not a parents' place. This is my place actually. Well, technically it's hers because she owns the contract. But we've bought it outright. This is the village house. It's in her village. What's
That's
kind
cool.
of cool is one of, I think she might correct me on this, but I think her great grandfather was one of the three brothers who founded this village. No?
No, no, village is way, way old time. Right?
Why does your surname have so much recognition?
Because they named my grandfather, he was a very respected man. That's all.
Okay, anyway, so my wife has a huge amount of respect in the village. Up to the point where she's walking to the center to get a bus back to Tbilisi, and a guy drives past with a taxi sign, and they chat, and he gets a family name, and he offers her a free ride to Tbilisi. It's like that level of respect just for the family name. So that's kind of cool.
Sounds like Bixby and Secret of Nim.
Say again?
It's like the Secret of Nim, Bixby. Jonathan Bixby, the name. It held weight. Did you watch that movie?
No. And I have this novelty factor. It's like, there's an Englishman living in the village? That's weird. And it's funny. We get on really well with one of our neighbors. And many people in the village know this. And he's a very nice guy. He's very popular. And so people ask him about me. But the first question they ask, this is Georgia, so get this. The first question they ask him is, does he drink?
Oh boy, where to go with that? What's up, Jeff?
Happy it
Oh,
depends
happy 4th of July,
hence
guys.
day. It depends
250
hence day.
years.
Oh. It's funny, this morning we didn't even bring it up. Claire was in the comments going, what in the hell? You guys, isn't it Independence Day? Aren't you guys supposed to be celebrating this day? And it's like, yeah, it's the day. We're gonna do that. We do that.
I got to bed late last night, like 2 hours before Megan's live stream, so I'm so far behind. I haven't had a chance to watch but like the first couple minutes of it.
It's really good, dude, I think, but I'm biased.
Well, I wanted to go watch
I'm
it,
also
but then
biased. I loved it.
I was worried I was going to miss out what was happening on here, miss out on what was happening here, so I haven't gone and tried it yet.
Hey,
Yeah,
Neil's in the chat.
Yeah, Neil can come on. We were if I don't know if he caught the beginning part of this, but I was riffing on the friendship thing you guys did, and
Yeah, in Cloud Talk Show.
I would love to hear what you think about what I said. I would have loved to have been in that. And if you are doing another one, Neil, I definitely want to be part of that. But I said my piece because it was, golly, I wanted to stop the video so many times so that I could get my thoughts in order. But it was probably God thing because I'm driving across the state and it was like, I can't do that, but I did want to do this to at least somehow document the quick things and thoughts I had on this idea of friendship, and how I feel like it's undersold sometimes in our space, but also in real life. But my whole, Jeff, that you're on is perfect because part of the thing I brought up was they were bringing up the letters of C.S. Lewis and writing his friend, and they were talking about this connection. And it's like, and we just don't, we totally don't see the value in what we're doing. A lot of times, some people, it's like, dude, you think they were in real life friends? They were doing letters across spans of space and time, and they
Yeah.
were friends.
Yeah, it's just a different technology than the one that we're
Yeah.
using. Yep.
Yeah. So that doesn't, if anything, we probably get to know each other even more than maybe he was able to
Mm-hmm.
in some aspects.
Yeah.
It might
But it,
actually be a blessing that we don't quite get the value of it. I mean, I consider you a friend, Brett, Teo, Jeff, various people in the comments, and it's like astonishing. I really don't quite. My head hasn't quite got around it. You know, it's like I got a friend who lives in New Orleans. That's so cool, but it's really weird at the same time. And so maybe this not quite understanding it is actually healthy. Okay, has it gone silent or is my screen frozen?
no,
I
I'm
was
just
wondering
processing it.
how long the silence could last, and you would be the first to break it. Well done, Mark. You lost -5 points.
Yeah, we were trying to have a comfortable silence, Mark, and you ruined it.
Okay, 1 minute silence for Donald Trump.
Oh boy.
Wait, did
Don't kill the stream now. Yeah, I just loved what he was talking about. I mean, I recognize that our friendships have levels. I'm not. It's not lost on me. But I also don't want to relegate it to a box of these unknown groups of people that don't really know me, because that's not true. Like, I got a chance to talk with Teo yesterday. That was, I bared my heart. I wanted him to know my story. And so, there's probably, I had shared at the beginning of the stream, there's probably like 4 people that I've shared my story with. And it's situational, and that's not for the entire internet. But it is a level of trust that I will, willing to take, and with certain people. And so again, it is moving up a ladder of level of friendship. But this horizontal thing, this is why I had a hard time understanding with when people talk vertical versus horizontal. Like, to me, there's only one vertical, right? The vertical is God and me and us down here. Like, this is us. And again, I mentioned, okay, it might be my Protestant view on things, but I'm just saying that the idea that without that vertical, that connection with God, and him reflecting his love, his all the gifts of the Spirit, right? Because through the Holy Spirit, anybody can even see anything remotely close to what he conveys through people. And so, like, I thought it was so cool that, even in my worst moments, somehow he finds ways to somehow reflect his love through it, or his glory through it, in ways I can't comprehend, even unintentionally. So, that's how I see the vertical. Like, I don't see it in a very hierarchical sense. And it sounded like on the stream that there were some people that were seeing that this vertical thing had other dimensions other than just, the human horizontal, and the outside of time
Well,
omniscience.
there is a vertical that's not just you and between you and God. There's you and your parents, you and your boss, you and your There are other verticals, relationship verticals that are like that. It's not just God, and you don't have to be a Catholic to see that there are other verticals.
Well, there's hierarchy, but I guess when I'm using the term horizontal, I'm including everybody in that. And again, it doesn't mean I don't have a closer connection with people horizontally. And it doesn't mean that I may prioritize, it doesn't mean that I don't prioritize some over others. but I still see it in the horizontal. Again, like I
The,
said, that's
the,
just
the prioritizing is it's the vertical. Some things
okay.
are higher than others.
I see what you're saying.
Can I say I mean, lots of people talk about the vertical and the horizontal, and the thing I've been pondering. You got a deadhead shot of our wheelbarrow, which is missing 2 bolts. Anyway, vertical, horizontal. Jordan Hall talks about this. Peterson talks about this. Peugeot talks about this. We talk about this. The thing I'm wrestling with at the moment is the point where the vertical and the horizontal meet, which is within us. It meets within us. Does that make sense? And I think this is the point that we should be searching for. The point where the vertical and the horizontal meet. Silence.
I just lost whoever was trying to come in. You'll have to try to come in again. So what are your thoughts, Jeff, with the C.S. Lewis thing?
Can I just Seek and Genuine says in the comments, verticality can be referenced at every level of horizontal and vice versa. It should just be a way to denote context space, what seat you are speaking from, like a coordinate. B, that's not what I meant. I think
Yeah,
I understand what you mean, but it's much more than that.
You see how special it is to talk about these things, because when people use that term, the horizontal and the vertical, how different we can perceive how we're imagining it.
That's what happens when you throw out the propositions. Everyone gets to decide what the proposition means.
Or find out what their proposition is.
God
What do you
damn it,
mean?
everyone wants to pee.
What do you mean by that, Tayo?
Oh, Jeff, don't be so.
Oh,
I threw it out there, but you could have ignored it, Jeff. Now, the shit stirring falls on you.
I wanted to have a Mustafar, Anakin, and Obi-Wan battle with you, Tayo.
Now, what do you mean by what do I mean by that?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on what you mean by that question.
Well, that's actually a very interesting way to look at it, but that would also be determined by what you mean by what you meant by what you mean by that.
Well, my answer I will steal from B. It depends. Hence, what do you mean by that?
Happy Independence Day. End scene. Thanks, America. Same time tomorrow.
oh boy, it's like who's on first? Oh
The British
boy.
love Americans, but we have the secret superiority complex.
It's not a secret. I try to make it as blatant as possible and let as many Americans know as possible they are just an inferior, the leftover from the great British Empire.
You
And you're not.
know, that tendency has made its way into the Canadians as well, because I have several Canadian friends and they just kind of listen to what they say, but they just keep it to themselves. But when I hear them talking when they don't think an American is around, it's just like, oh, you're just like the British in that way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think they are. But they have an inferiority complex about the British, even though they have a superiority complex about the Americans. It's like a hierarchy.
I think the Canadians are of dual minds when it comes to Americans, though, because one of my closest Canadian friends, we traveled on a work trip one time. We were out of our home countries for a month, and we were just kind of sitting around chatting, and I started talking. I started talking a little bit about America, and it wasn't from a position of supposed superiority or anything like that. And she was just like, "Yeah, what's so great about America?" And I said, "Well, let's just look some things up. What things were invented in America?" And I started going down a list, and there were
Go
like
on.
there were
Independence
like
Day. Give us
a
the list.
100 things, and we just got like to the first two or three things on the list, and I'm just like, well, we wouldn't have this, and these weren't things that I knew. I was just researching it. I was just like, well, we got this, and we got this other thing, and by the time I got to the fifth thing, she's like, all right, that's enough. I don't want to hear anymore. Now, the
Not
the thing that
listening, not listening.
That list was also invented in America, by the way.
yeah. Well, the thing that Americans don't see is, well, okay, yes, technically you can say those things were invented by America, but they were invented by people who came to America from different countries.
Amen. That was where I was going to
Oh,
go.
Britannia, Britannia, rule the world.
Actually, British invented America. We actually raised it.
Yes,
off
you're
seabed.
welcome.
Yes, unintentionally, but yes, that's what today is all about.
Well, you could argue British was invented by the Greeks then, if you really want to go that way.
You've got Neil backstage, Brett.
I'd
Yeah,
say
I,
more
I,
Oh,
I can't explain it with
nice.
logic, but if you go back
Oh,
far enough, America invented Britain.
Wait, do you know what? The first part of your sentence makes the rest of it make sense.
Neil, are you in?
Deadass. He's in.
Yeah. I was thinking about this topic in relation to the American Revolution, and I was thinking about how it's so like in vogue, it's so popular to talk about the transgressive act of rebelling against your king and why the founding of America is evil now on both the right and the left.
Amen.
And then I was thinking about why that's secondary, meaning that it wouldn't have been so it wouldn't have been enough for America to succeed if we were just rebelling against the old. There needed to be something that actually unified America. Now it took about 10 years to figure that out, right? Because the Articles of Confederation were a failure. And even in the early years of America, it's not like America was like overwhelmingly successful immediately. But I was thinking about the founding fathers and their friendship and the fact that they all trusted one another. Like they bickered and they fought, but that's actually a genuine friendship because it's like we're not breaking our communion despite our bickering and so I didn't even intend this, but coming out on the 4th of July, I think that founding spirit of like, what is it, 80 men that got together, and I don't know what the Continental Congress was in terms of size, but it's like it's a Dunbar number. They all knew each other.
I mean, they
56,
must
I
be
think.
friends. I saw from what I heard that they had rap battles back and forth to find a country, or was that just something else?
Sorry, I didn't really hear that, Tayo.
Yeah, you said that they were friends, and I was just referencing the fact that there was a rap battle at the founding of America as a country.
Well, Drake lost that battle, so that's why America was founded before Canada.
Fair play, my friend. Thanks for saving it. Bray, you were gonna say something.
You would just stop my mind working.
I did tend to have that effect on people. It's a gift.
This is better than fart jokes.
This is fart jokes. Mark, this is exactly what fart jokes is. I like the reframing of the American Independence Day as a British Revolution.
It was actually Trump that signed the Declaration of Independence. He negotiated with the British in 1876 or whenever it was.
I think that was AI slop, Mark, that informed you of that history, that showed you Trump in a red coat outfit. I'm pretty sure that was AI. Apologies. And
No,
America,
it's true.
yeah,
I saw it on Twitter.
we also invented AI, so you can blame us for that.
I see a mad sea.
Trump was king.
No,
Matty
Mum.
Matt.
Christ is king.
Uh-oh.
Trump was Christ.
Did we have like real things to talk about?
No.
Well,
we're talking
Brett had
about
a
friendship.
really good thing to say about friendship earlier, and Mark and I came on to talk about fart jokes. So they can choose.
I can jump off if you don't want fart jokes.
No, I actually name dropped you, Mark and Tbilisi, so yesterday, because I think it was in relation to the wall and politeness, and the fact that we wear like your perception of the garden wall. So the wall is like politeness would be the image that everyone else needs to see of me. That would be politeness, or that would be the wall. And
it
then
sits on the wall.
yeah. And I think that's. I was thinking about it more this morning. I think friendship is maybe the single most threatening idea to the machine, or the single most, like it seems so trivial. Like how could friendship be so threatening to the culture at large? And I think it really is. And the reason I think it's so threatening is like it is the hierarchical stuff that Brett was talking about before. So if I'm right, AI is the logical conclusion of a world that has gone 100% horizontal. So a culture that values only inclusion and egalitarianism is 100% horizontal. And AI is the logical conclusion of that, because AI is like, regardless of your background, regardless of the amount of money you have, you can do anything, you can generate anything, you can create anything you want. Everybody can do it. You know, the animation that was only possible 20 years ago from the best animators in the world, now you can make that same animation for yourself. Like everyone is equal in AI. You know, it's not like now you're equal under the $199 a month plan as opposed to the free plan, or but you're equal under the amount of money that you give to the AI god. Like you are equal, and and so friendship is something like, I think the radical move of friendship is like, I'm not going to try to get anything from you. Like we're going to see what happens, but like I'm not. The radical move is like, I'm only just sacrificing up toward a person, but it's not. This is so weird because it's not. There is no like a true friendship. There is no expectation of reciprocity. But then again, a friendship will die without reciprocity. So it's like every step of a friendship is a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith into nothingness. It's like, I just feel this thing that's beyond me, that doesn't make sense. And I'm just going to go, like, fuck it. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And so it is a lot like a romance in that way, but it's, I don't know, like I think it's the key to breaking this horizontal frame, because it's saying like, we do have we do have something that's unique and different from everyone else. It's unique and different from everyone else. AI can't treat you this way because AI can't have favorites. And and we're going to see where that goes. And that's an adventure, because we have no idea how high the hierarchy goes. Like we haven't a clue. That's a real adventure. And people are inherently dangerous. People can give you an answer to something that you don't like. People can knock you down a peg or two, be like, oh, actually, you're not my best friend. It's like, all right, buddy. And so like the last frontier is actually other people. And more importantly, it's the sociological structures that arise from other people. So like the radical band of misfits that rejects the principles of the culture at large is the revolutionary act. But it can't be the revolutionary act just to spite the culture at large. Like if the whole point of TLC was to give the middle finger to culture at large, that's the truly revolutionary act. Now, it has to be an asterisk. The real thing has to be, like I said, the friendship, the hierarchical, like we're going to pursue something awesome together and see where it goes. And we haven't a clue. And away we go. Now, the middle finger to the culture at large is just the added bonus. Like that's just for funsies, you know?
And it is fun. And I think we do that.
Matsy, you came on to speak on friendship.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to add, I want to add to what Neil's cooking because I haven't listened to this morning's thing yet. I really like what he just put on the table. I want to see if this collaborates well with Neil's idea. I think it does because I don't think he addresses this particular dimension, but I think it dovetails well. So like millennials, the generation that Neil and I grew up in on the internet, like we went super deep into internet community stuff before Gen X did. And when we went super deep about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago even, we had all these like boundary standards that were super important. Like never use your real name, have an anon account. There are no friends on the internet. That was a really big, important mantra for like a decade.
There are no women on the internet.
Can I just
there's no
interrupt
women.
them? A friend of mine went to prison for 2 years, and he was advised never make friends with anyone in the prison.
Yeah. There's something to that. Never make friends. There's no friends in prison or on the internet. Maybe there's more than a coincidence in that. But there's something interesting about TLC that's intentionally trying to be subversive / revolutionary by saying we're going to show our faces and our names and we're going to make friends here, despite what the internet.
Ironic, I'm the only one showing my face.
Well, that's just for bandwidth reasons. Also, you're the most lovely to gaze upon. So
I'm going to deliberately enlarge my nostrils for you, Mark. You ready? We're going to go deep. Let's go.
If I like that game, I would win.
So like the act that the millennials did when we came of age on the internet, which was way before Gen X did, is probably being exposed by TLC and other communities as being not as revolutionary as it thought it was, because it was just about OPSEC, like having a firm boundary between the internet and real life, which was healthy in a way, obviously. But VL, like virtually not alone, flying out to each other's places and hanging out, doing estuary, all these kind of acts are much more revolutionary in a way. It's just saying, I see internet, I see what you're putting on the table, and I reject it, and I'm going to do something probably more dangerous. But I'm not going to do the radical egalitarian, everybody is an anon, nobody's real life is touching and interfacing with the internet. Actually, I am going to interface with the internet, and I am going to have some hierarchy on the internet. And I'm going to talk about people being my friends on the internet. It's kind of crazy. It's super dangerous, but this might be one of those communities where the heart's in the right place. So things might follow that might be really profound.
Real quick.
I was just going to say, Neil, I like my prison friends, and if I get shanked, I get shanked. Go ahead, Neil.
Well, that's because you're like 6'13", Jeff. Like your reach. If someone comes at you with a shank, you can outshank them.
I'd look more dangerous than I am. You just push me and I'll fall over.
Yeah.
Wow, this conversation went in a weird direction.
So a few things. So one is that I don't think it's as dangerous as people think it is. Now, ask me that in 10 years, and maybe I'll regret, being as outwardly facing in public as, because the truth is, like, nobody cares. And to the extent that somehow people actually care, like the outside cares, we just got to keep talking about Jesus. Like, that's my solution to that. Like, if they do really care. Now, okay, so, and then here's the other thing. Like, we have this fear, or I have this fear, and I've had this fear for a long time, of the idea of the panopticon for social media. It's like, why does a government need to install a surveillance state to monitor us in and everything we're doing and give us our social credit scores, if they can just, enlist the Blue Church Mafia through social media to properly report on everyone's social behavior? And then I realized, like, oh, the only reason a panopticon works is because we have this presumption in our privacy that God doesn't see and judge us all the time for every single thing we do and say and act. And then I realized, oh, if I put my ultimate judgment in God, if I assume that God's judgment is both overwhelmingly more merciful, but also more difficult than any societal judgment that could ever happen whatsoever, then what the heck am I concealing through? And I'm not reckless about it, right? Like, I'm not trying to expose people and things in my life that shouldn't expose, but really, again, it gets back to, like, it's just not relevant. So like the panopticon fear is only an issue insofar as we actually give a fuck what other people think of us. Or other people in terms of the people that we don't consider friends. So friendship is the ultimate defense against that, because it's like, all right, like, I might be regarded as crazy or weird or strange, but that doesn't really matter because you're not of me. Like, you're not part of my life. That the spirit of judgment that's outside, like, what I care about is the spirit of judgment of God. Thoughts?
I just wanted to
Great
add,
stuff.
a friend of mine, I haven't seen her for a long time, we've lost touch. She was from St. Pete's, Florida. She called it the armpit of America.
That's not good. That's
Made
where
me
I was
laugh.
born.
You get the joke,
Can
though,
you-
surely.
Yeah, I do.
But she said, she was speaking about me and her. She said, we're not intentionally rebels. We're just trying to fit in, but we can't.
No, I can actually fit in, Mark. I got incredibly good in my younger years at pretending to be normal. I got so good at pretending to be normal. Like, oh man, like, I'm so good at that. But, like, that game gets really old really fast. It gets so boring.
Neil, you're the Dexter of Louisiana.
Yeah,
Dexter?
my pretending had to do with something. Pretend exceptionally well was alcohol.
You're breaking up a little bit, Brett, but I think you said that your way of pretending was drinking.
Yeah,
Like,
somebody's clicking like crazy. There's like a staticky clickiness. I don't know who.
It was Brett. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll try to push back as gently as I can, because one, I do think it's easy to say that, oh, I don't care. That label, that, too cool for school sort of attitude of I only care what the people that I care about think. I think is easier said than done, and maybe it's temperamental, and some people are better at it than others. But I think for most people, we do care, and I think it's a good thing that we do care, because that's how we connect with others, is by learning what is and isn't the norm. Like and I think there should be a norm. Oh, we lost Brett. This is Brett streaming. We've lost Brett. The takeover is nearly complete.
Quickly,
This
say the
is like
thing. Say the thing
perfect.
before he gets back. Say it.
What's the thing?
Nothing. So there's a way we earn trust is like we don't tank Brett's stream while he's gone.
This
But
is such a boy stream.
Tayo,
Brett-
it is definitely temperamental. In that I am temperamentally wired to be somewhat subversive and enjoy it, and somewhat not sensitive to feedback. But that's not really true. I'm very sensitive to feedback of people I care about, and that I feel I'm very sensitive to feedback from people who I know care about what's best for me, you could say.
Yeah.
So that's sort of an anchoring. It's sort of an anchoring field for me in terms of keeping me pointed toward Christ. In that, like, I'm gonna drift way more easily if no one can say like, "Hey, Neil, what the heck are you doing?" You know. Whereas like if Chad starts calling me out on stuff and it damages our friendship, that sucks. Now, if it damages the friendships between me and like 10 people, that's like really. So those friendships really, like I said, anchor me, and they're the positive reinforcement that I need to like not stray off course or be pulled back on course.
Yeah, I think friendship particularly.
Sorry, Teo. Matthew Pajot had a conversation with someone. Forgive me, I forget who it was, but he was talking about your wife being a stumbling block. And to me, what Neil was saying is your friends are also stumbling blocks. As in, like, you're going in the wrong direction, and we're going to stick a big, huge rock in your way because you're being an ass. So stop it. I think that's right, and that's healthy.
I don't know
And
if that's
my
what
wife
they meant.
puts rocks in my way, and it annoys me, but she's
No, it's
usually
only
right.
your wife that's a stumbling block. Mine is an anchor. No, just kidding.
Can you hear me?
Oh, so you can't go far then. Neil.
Yeah, Brett, go for it whilst we've got you, Claire.
Yeah, so I don't think that's what the word stumbling block was meaning, though. I mean, or maybe they're misappropriating it, but like the whole idea to me with a stumbling block is a lot of times I'm the one who chose to have that stumbling block in place in a sense, right? Like, so like if your wife or your friend or somebody is becoming a stumbling block to you, to me it's a stumbling block in this connection I have with God. One of my friends coming over and saying, "Hey, there's a stumbling block." You know what I mean? Another one that isn't a stumbling block, pointing out a stumbling block, is different. And I think what Mashu Peugeot, I think what he was saying is, yeah, I think what he was saying is, like what they were saying, what Paul was saying about being in a relationship, you know, like if you're single, you clearly are able to not have to have a divided allegiance in a sense, because you do have to sacrifice some of your time to the relationship, right? But, you know, if you didn't have that per se, you might be able to willy-nilly go and feed the homeless and not have to consider anybody. Now, if you have an even better relationship with your wife, right, then that stuff wouldn't even matter, and you could just go and do it because you're on the same page, following Christ. You know, maybe you have that relationship. So it's just, I think stumbling block, the idea of a stumbling block to me is different.
I'll stick with my definition.
Love you, Mark. Yeah, no, I'll definitely do friendship again because I think I hit a nerve, and I'll change the people I invite.
Sorry, Neil, I don't think you hit a nerve. I don't think we disagreed with you. We're just exploring the idea.
Well, sometimes nerves need to be explored, and it's painful. So.
Ouch.
Yeah, but I don't think any of us are in pain.
Well, not on this screen. The question is, what? Okay, here's a question in my mind. What percentage of people within TLC are either in therapy or on anxiety or depression medication compared to the population at large. So if you take the demographic makeup of TLC and you normalize for number in therapy or on anxiety and depression meds, and then you compare that to population at large. I guess in order to do the study properly, and this is for Clara, the sociologist, I'm outlining the study, but in order to do the study properly, you'd have to have like the status of them prior to TLC. So status priorus TLCeticus, and then
I
measure
think
their status after
the
like 1 hour.
secret sauce behind that is just there are a lot of Christians in TLC that go to church regularly.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
you'd have to measure compared to a control group of Christians out there in the wild outside of TLC and measure how many of them are in therapy or on anti-anxiety or
So
antidepressant meds.
is the argument then being that the people in TLC have better friends than the regular Christian, and that's why they don't need therapy or medication?
No, I actually think that the pharmaceutical industry should sponsor the study to prove that their drugs are better than friendship, and we actually don't need friendship. So Philip Morris, or sorry, not Philip Morris, Novartis or Johnson & Johnson. One of the Johnsons is a jerk, but the other one's good. So maybe he'll listen.
Can
So
I
that's
say
why.
this whole therapy medication thing is maybe Tayo can argue with me on this, but it's a very America-centric concept, and most of the world just doesn't do it. We don't do therapy. We don't do drugs to raise or lower our emotional state, apart from illegal ones. So you'd
Yeah,
have to focus it on the American TLC members.
times have changed, Mark. Unfortunately, the Americanization
Really?
of the world is continued. Yeah, I know a lot of my
Yeah,
people.
the things that are unique to America are usually just unique to America first, and then it goes to the Anglosphere, of which Tayo's part of. You're part of the Caucasian sphere, Mark, like the Caucasus, which are, I think they're building a railroad there now, so you might have that technology in the next 5 years. So it'll get there.
No, they have a railroad. It's just the wrong gauge, so they have to change trains. It's Soviet railroad.
Yeah. In the Soviet Union, the individual what are they? The wooden rail things that go across, they're made out of human skeletons. So sorry, I'm gonna stop.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a little bit too dark. Probably not for some people, but anyway. I'm sorry. I'm being provocative, but I've got my energy up from doing my morning walk and sitting in my backyard right now. So
Oh, cool. Nice backyard. I'm in my backyard. I'm in my front yard, actually.
yeah.
My backyard's about 2 meters wide. And the grass is like yay high or something stupid at the moment. It's on the list.
I did
was gonna say
mine
something.
yesterday. I did my garden yesterday whilst talking to Brett. That was lovely. Got to hear Brett's testimony.
Yep. That was awesome.
It took all day though. The
It
garden,
did.
not the testimony.
Although it was pretty
Gotta
long,
check it
I'm
out.
sure. No, we didn't do it live. We just talked.
Yeah, this is offline.
Yeah, but I got the contacts that know how to get to the recordings that are for all Discord conversations, so I'll just contact them.
Oh, okay.
Good. Yeah, reach out to the Discord people. I'm sure they'll give you the link.
All right,
Just for random bragging rights, these chairs are actually pallets. These cushions my wife made because she's an awesome
Nice.
seamstress. So, yeah.
Are they made out of
Well,
Are they made out of real Georgian camel's hair?
Kitty,
She's been
what are these
saving his
cookies
beard.
made of?
His
You're
beard.
gonna ask her.
She's been saving the beard clippings.
Mark is dying.
They're made from Mark hair.
Well, I
Right, if
better.
you could donate a little, that would be appreciated.
I'm gonna start my day, and happy 4th of July, everybody. You know,
Happy 4th of July.
I think there's still hope for America being a beacon of hope to the world. I don't know how it's going to happen, but the fact that it's actually out of my hands and I don't know how it's going to happen gives me hope because it's not up to me. So, yeah.
I
right.
love you almost as much as you love America, Neil. Almost as much.
I like my country. I'm grateful
Neil,
for
can
my
you
country.
do us a favor? Can you
Yeah.
invade England and just like
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what the? I
Maybe
know it's
we'll
their
just-
birthday and everything, but wait, Mark, what do you do? We need to get you back to England. You've been in Georgia too long.
I tried to
what was
invade
that?
England. It's too hot.
Too hot?
Yeah, Jeff came during the.
There's not enough air conditioning for me to sustain a campaign against England.
We'll toughen you up in Florida.
Once
Neil,
we set up the Mars base, then that will be motivation for the Europeans to want to come to Mars where there's air conditioning, climate control, and
Good luck with that.
that'll be
You
good.
guys-
Neil, you're
Yeah.
not going to save the world if you need air conditioning. Sorry.
Yeah.
Europe doesn't
One step
have
at a
it.
time. Yeah. One step at a
America's
time.
going to save the world by introducing air conditioning to Europe.
It's one of those technologies that's eventually going to make its way across the Atlantic. All right. Love you all. Have a good day.
Thanks, Neil.
I'm going to drop out as well, so I'll be listening. You guys have fun.
Thanks, buddy.
Love you.
Yeah, I do want to thank you, Teo, for talking with me yesterday. That was awesome.
No, thank you. It was nice to have someone to talk to instead of podcasts to listen to us doing some chores.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of interaction is definitely cooler than, although, golly, it's like when there's like 3 or 4 videos that I've got saved in my watch later. You know, it's amazing how if you jump on a stream and you had some watch laters piled up, how you do kind of miss a little bit of some of the conversation, like, you know what I mean? But it's like if somebody starts talking about friendship on another stream and they missed our whole beginning dialogue of us talking maybe about, or even what I said at the beginning of the stream, and they missed it, and then they move into another sphere, and it's like, yeah, well, you missed what we were talking about. Like, you missed about the hierarchy aspect of how we were, figuring out people had different ideas of it, and you know what I mean? So like, you kind of feel like,
yeah, that's true, but I feel most of the conversation, even if you've watched everything that's ever been produced, is about, wait, are we missing each other? So it doesn't matter if you miss the conversation because for example, I've not seen the friendship estuary that Neil did, but it's been brought up. I've seen enough people bring up that
Neil did it,
and I've spoken to Neil. Yeah, Neil and everyone else. Well, I've spoken to Neil about friendship conversations, so I've got a map of where he might be coming from. So yeah, but I do understand as a fairly new into the corner, there is that you feel like you have to catch up with the watch later. I've stopped actually adding stuff to my watch later for the most part because I just don't get back to it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, especially when you have so many you subscribe to so many channels that you may not be able to keep up. However, it is cool, like when somebody references something, it's like, oh yeah, that would be great. Let me go find that conversation. So then you can kind of choose to go hunt it down, you know.
Yeah, that's the having shared context to be able to gather around and meet up over. That's a big part of what the TLC has been doing online.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Matt dropped out and didn't even get to hear as much as I wanted to hear from him. I don't know, but I'm like getting closer and closer to Matt as I'm driving across the state. Although Matt, I think he's further south than where I'll
Are you
be, but I don't know. But
are you driving to Florida?
yeah, I'm going from the East Coast to the West Coast. So that's why there was a pocket there where it was all jacked up and it got staticky.
How long
So
is
I
the
kind
drive?
it's about, well, in theory, I could, the shortest route would probably be like 2.5 hours, but because
Okay,
I'm going a little north, it's probably going to end up being like 3.
all right. That's a lot for a Brit, but that's normal for Americans. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, heading north and south is even worse. Like when people say they're in Florida, even if they're on the East Coast and one person's in Miami and another person's in like, well, Port St. Lucie. I mean, that could be a 3-hour drive right there. You know, Daytona, Jacksonville. It's like, the whole state is like at least a 7-8 hour drive. And that's
are
not
you
even counting Key
driving?
West.
Are you driving over somewhere for the Fourth of July celebrations or
Yeah, my
other chores?
parents, well, since I no longer am employed, my parents suggested that I come over to their timeshare because they happen to have it during this weekend through the week.
I
So I
see.
figured, all right, yeah, that sounds cool. So, I'm following them over there, and then I'm going to stay a couple of days. We'll see how the Wi-Fi is and whether I'm able to jump on anything. Um, but yeah, it was cool because I was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. I don't normally get a chance to do that with them, so it was a good opportunity to, carpe diem.
Sorry, I was just posting the link.
I
So I know
can't
you're driving.
believe, yeah, I can't believe that that I only lost. It started getting staticky in the middle of the state, and so it was like, you know, I was pretty impressed. I started hearing a lot of static, so I kind of turned my camera off. Then I turned my mic off, and then I had to literally leave, and then come back into the room, and then everything was fine.
Yeah,
Had
whilst
enough
you were gone,
bars.
you might want to watch it back because whilst you were gone, we were talking about you behind your back. So
Matt, what's
Oh,
up?
that's why I came on, so you could say it to my face.
That's right. You can sense I'm getting closer to you.
Yeah, I dig it. I looked it up. I didn't even remember where that area was, but I think it's still like 3 hours away.
Is it really north of you?
Yeah. Because I'm at
Madeira
the
how,
Beach?
bottom.
fuck,
That's,
how fucking big
yeah.
is this country?
Yeah, it's funny, Tayo. When I was in England, like I just did a day trip from Sussex to Suffolk, and people were like on the floor.
You posh twat. From Sussex to Suffolk. Okay. Where did you?
And I went all the way around London. I took the ferry across the Thames. I was like, whatever. It's just it's 2.5 hours, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And people were like falling out of their chairs. Like, what the heck are you doing?
That is
Like,
hilarious.
that's a day trip. Brett knows. That's just going across. It's just seeing family.
Yep. That's like Atlanta. When I lived in Atlanta, in order to travel this distance through the city, whatever, it could take you 2 hours to get across the entire city if you had to go through the city, but for whatever
Yeah.
the reason, the way that we were navigating it. And then all of a sudden, you had, like my comparison had to do with, um, had to do with like Florida. And I'm like, dude, 3 hours, 2 hours, I'm in Miami. Like
Yeah.
all I am is across the state or across the city of Atlanta. Like that was the hardest part about living in Atlanta was that aspect. McMo.
Howdy, boys. I joined before I saw Matt C was on
Yo,
here. I
Dang
didn't
it.
know it was. I didn't know it was a party already. No, it's a good thing, man. Don't no need to curse. No, I'm excited.
We're talking Georgia.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I heard some people talking about Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
If you're from Atlanta, you know not to pronounce the T. Atlanta, Atlanta, Atlanta,
yeah.
Atlanta.
That's right.
I gave old Free Rillian and Skankenstein my I'm not quite an insider of Atlanta, but I'm a little bit of a I know enough. I've had enough experiences in Atlanta where I can give a little bit of a tour. And so we had fun times, and I'd show them gas stations that I used to take bathroom breaks when I was a traveling salesperson.
that's a fun
Well,
tour.
just the essentials.
Yeah, you guys got to check out this QT. Just wait. I know this has been, maybe not the best tour, but wait till you see this QT.
You also took him to like a fancy cigar bar. I heard about that.
Oh no, I didn't take them to anywhere fancy. That was all part of the wedding. There were other people
Oh.
there. If it were up to me, I would have walked them down the seedy alleys where people are, where you can actually live a little.
Mhm.
But no, it was fun. They were actually amazed at how green it was. How many trees and bushes were around. And I'm like, this is the way the world is. Why do you live where it's not like this? But that's my bias. You forget that you live in such a lush and green area after a while, because the Appalachians are like that. Down in Savannah is very green. Same with Atlanta. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good things about Atlanta. The traffic stuff gets overblown in my opinion. And I mean, it's bad at rush hour, yeah, but like that's fine. And then there will be wrecks. There'll be wrecks and people not driving correctly. And so the traffic's bad, but it's not. I think it gets overplayed. Atlanta's great. What were we
It's
talking about?
also built. It's built to be a highway town, So it this wasn't added later, It was built up in the age of the highway, so it is
Yeah,
kind of
the original was built up in the railroads. So
well,
there's a kind of
yeah,
there's a ghost of pre-Civil War Atlanta, very much at work with Atlanta still. But you know,
yeah.
I would love to go to Atlanta with Matt C. We would be talking
Oh,
about we would create our own kind of sociological lore that's plausible, but we would have no data, and so we would just be making it all up. But we would enjoy each, and we would nod and stroke our chin and say, "Yes, yes, we understand the deeper things of Atlanta," even though neither of us are from there.
we'd outperform PVK spending like 3 days in England and then telling
I
Americans
th-
going to American centric conferences, no less, and then saying exactly how the UK, the landscape socioeconomically is happening for the UK. I love how he did that.
I
It's
want to go
great.
sleep in Tayo's garden. That'll give me a real good taste of what's going on
Yeah.
over there. Fly me out, Tayo. Why can't I speak at a breakwater
Pull
event?
pull up. Donate to the McMo link.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I haven't even been invited yet. Is it my cheerful disposition that's keeping me away?
Well, to be fair, Matt C's been here like 5 times since I've known him, and I've never seen him once. So I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
didn't
me.
real. There's a
tried
lot
to
of
pull
world
up.
travelers. I didn't realize
You
there's so
didn't-
many rich people in the corner. I didn't realize people could just like afford to like fly across the world these days. But
It
that's
can happen.
yeah, it can happen. I mean, donate to the Ko-fi. Uh, I'm so behind on corner talk. Like, what's the like overall? What I saw the friendship thing. I didn't watch the estuary. I've been trying to catch up on live streams all morning, and then something new would pop up. And Didn't get enough sleep last. I'm kind of pulling a Grim Grizz the other day when he didn't get enough sleep and he came on and was kind of weird on a stream. But so apologies for being a little socially weird here, but what's going on? I'm so far behind on the corner. I feel like I don't even belong anymore.
Well, basically, the other day, Brett did the PVK's fired stream and went on a full-on rant about the propositional tyranny and the fact that the Connor's too mushy about it. And yeah, that was yesterday. The day before that, I think Megan did a stream saying similar things. So
Wow.
the morning crew are really taking a perfect. The morning crew people, they started a signal group. That's another thing. The takeover is really going on. That's
So
what you've missed.
they're pro propositional. What's their take on propositional tyranny?
It's difficult to tell. Some
Oh,
are
you
pro,
don't
some are
say.
not. Some are pro. Brett is pro propositional tyranny or anti. What does it mean to be pro tyranny?
Well, tyranny is certainly, it kind of spoils the term in terms of it being used by both quote unquote sides. But
Exactly. So
what was is there a consensus definition of propositional tyranny, or is it in the strictly Verbachian sense where
basically,
our
McMahon,
dependence on the words has led us to the meaning crisis?
to actually try to seriously catch you up today. Basically, the morning crew people are going through like season 3, episode 4 of TLC, where we had a conversation about propositional tyranny. What is it? Is it good?
Sounds
Is it
like it.
bad? Basically,
Playing
that.
the hits,
Yeah,
man.
we gotta find him the clip of Vervaeke saying.
I feel like we're getting
he's
old,
pro.
Tayo.
We
Oh,
are. That's how I
can't hear
feel.
Matt C. Oh no, Brett left, and we're having
Seriously?
I can't hear Matt C. Do I need to leave, or does he need to leave?
You need to leave and come back, McMahon.
But Brett's not here to let me back on.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but McMahon can't. So you speak and I'll translate.
I'll just
Oh,
shut my
good.
pie hole until Brett comes back.
Well, we got to find the clip of Vervaeke saying he likes propositions. You just have to put them in the right hierarchy. It's got to have the right support structure. He's pro propositions. Maybe this is just a balancing thing that we typically have to go through because people heard Vervaeke and thought he was anti propositions. We know which crew thought that. And then there was a balancing act like 2 years ago where that got settled out and it was fairly handled, I think. And we just got to do it again now.
Part of the reason Grim Grizz was weird on the stream that McMahon probably saw was because Brett started it off by talking about Mark Lefebvre, who, as you know, was on the other side of said argument. And Brett was seemingly agreeing with
Brett's back. I can't hear Tayo anymore, but now I can hear Matt. So I'm going to leave and come back. Brett, don't keep me backstage. I'm missing good content, bro.
I got like one bar on this thing. I think that's why. So when you see me drop out, just bear with me and then it'll eventually come back.
Oh no, you're driving. You need to end the stream. This is not that important. You need to be safe.
No, I'm literally pulling off to take a piss. That was the thing. And it's like, okay.
TMI, bro. TMI.
To be fair, I did ask.
I love how we're seeing this from like this level too. It's great.
There you go. Now I feel equal.
McMo, are you back? Has everyone got sound for you?
Yeah, I think so, folks. I think I'm back, and I'm no longer got a arm tied behind my back. So watch out. Now I'm gonna have to be quiet and just to be generous, not out of a technical reason.
Since you were very busy being too good for TLC and being embodied and living.
It ain't that,
life,
brother.
What have you been up to?
I've been dealing with a grumpy disposition and have not wanted to be around many people. And So yeah, that's some of it. But then also I have been busy. It's just kind of been doing work and creative projects, and
Nice.
I don't spend my days sulking, but as a general theme of the past since I've been on live TV, yeah, overall I've been dealing with a certain amount of irritability.
Is it reverberations from your Savannah trip at all?
It could be,
Yeah.
it could be. Um, I think there's a lot of commingling factors if I'm going to psychoanalyze myself. But a lot of it's just physical too. Like I didn't get enough sleep the past couple days. Um, Staying up late, waking up, or like my body is really likes to wake up when the sun comes up, and sometimes it'll do that, and I can't fall back asleep, and I'll have stayed up far too late because I drank coffee too late. It's a big old thing, but I'm not blaming my irritability on the coffee. Sometimes you just gotta like suck it up and not be an a-hole. And so I've been doing a little bit of that too, which is exhausting, folks. It's exhausting. But yeah, there is definitely a connection to my trip to Savannah. A lot of my friends down there are like ex-evangelicals. Um, and we went to a wedding, and the mix of the wedding was kind of like half and half. People still going to mostly Big Eva, I would say, kind of Reformed Baptist, non-denominational type of church.
Yeah.
With some with some Catholics and Anglicans sprinkled in, and then a kind of ex-evangelical group that's kind of still friends with some of the people at the church, but definitely not as close as they used to be. And so there were a lot of kind of social and interesting theological and sociological dynamics that were going on, um, which I don't really want to get into at the risk of kind of psychoanalyzing my friends in public. But I mean, one thing that's been ringing in my mind, because I think it is more of it has less to do with my particular friend group, and I think speaks to something maybe more, something larger that's happening in society and culture at large. And it's the idea, um, the importance, and maybe some of this is easy for me to see as someone who doesn't go to church regularly or really at all. And I choose my words carefully there, like go to church, like Jonathan Pajot says, that it is the activity of going to the building on Sunday, kind of a thing. Now, there's a long history of this. I don't want to pretend like there aren't good arguments on all those sides, but to get back to the phenomena I witnessed, there seems to be a bit of prophilicity, a bit of performativeness at work in some of the modern Big Eva. But I don't think it's just Big Eva. I think that it's kind of here's the way to ask the question. How much of the joy of the Lord that the churchgoer receives on Sundays is because everybody's on their best behavior? And so I guess that applies to friendship too, because like if you can only be friends when everybody's on their best behavior, then you're not really friends. But then there's another view of friendship that says you should always be on your best behavior, and your friend should help you be on your best behavior. So I guess that those are my thoughts in hoping to kind of make this more of a discussion and less of me telling, sitting on the couch. And also Brett is gone now, and Tayo and Matt C are muted. So I guess I'm hosting this friendship talk now. This is great. And I probably can't
Yes,
hear anybody. They're
there
probably
you are.
talking and I can't hear.
Mic check, mic check.
Can you hear me?
I think we've lost McMo again.
Yeah, I can hear you, Brett.
Oh dear.
Can you hear me, Teo?
Yes, I get you, Brett.
All right, cool.
And I can hear Teo. Okay.
Did you catch what McMo said, Brett?
No, he was talking about church and Big Eva and everybody being on their best behavior.
Yeah, the question is how much of the joy of the Lord is just everyone trying to be on their best behavior, pretending to be on their best behavior, and how much of that is also in friendship. If I can only be friends with you if you're if I'm on my best behavior, then are we really friends? But then the other side is my friends are supposed to help me be on my best behavior, which was the stumbling block argument that Neil was making earlier.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's the thing. I mean, I guess the thing about it is like the more I'm at church in that space, um, I feel like the more I can tell whether it is genuine, you know? I mean, it's like that old thing, the Lord will not be mocked, you know? So I don't think,
Yeah, but the difficult, if I can interject, Brett, the
yeah,
difficult
go
thing,
ahead.
because I think I definitely like think you're onto something. But to kind of counterbalance it, the evangelical people think the exact same thing. You know, they're just like so grateful to have a community of people who basically agree with them. And there's a different set of best behavior that you have to be on when you're with that crew than with the other crew. And it's kind of same. It's just like which set of rules is easier for you to kind of live in. That becomes the question. And this also gets back to the kind of we're all Protestants now too, right? Like this is, I hate to be, I don't want to ask too unsettling of questions here. But this is all kind of Kierkegaardian in a sense. Because if we're not careful, friendship or community just becomes a kind of a self-congratulation of our own preference, right? It's like, oh wow, didn't I do a good job of choosing these people to be around? And I like being around these people I choose to be around. What how about that? And so there's no kind of Matt Seal like this, there's no grit, there's no iron sharpening iron, there's no
Love
rebuking,
it.
there's no reproving, like in uh, and I don't think that this is a denominational thing. I guess is the I don't you know I'm even saying that I think it happens in the kind of evangelical secular kind of post church crowd as well. Um, and I don't like it. I don't like any of it, to be honest. I don't want to be in a close knit community where I'm constantly getting reproved. I don't want to be in a disparate laissez faire community. I don't want to be in a I don't like any of it. All the options kind of suck in a way. So it's just interesting to me that like uh yeah, I don't know. There's something, I think there's something there that's well, I want to hear more from I guess the more from the people who go to church. But yeah, that to me seems that's like the biggest difficulty in friendship is like to what extent am I just like choosing this because of my preference?
Well,
So
aren't we? I mean,
before,
don't we definitely choose certain things because of our preference? I don't know.
Well, the fact that we do it doesn't mean that it's a good thing that we do.
Well, I by preference, I would say, like, I'll give you an example. The CRC, that was just happenstance for me. It wasn't like I um, plotted it out, looked at the doctrine, weighed it out, and decided to, no, I ended up being there because just the way that life worked. And then I dug into theology more because I had this passion for it.
Do
And
you
I
think it works
started,
the same way with friendship though? Like, is there well, I just find myself with these people, so I guess these are my friends?
well, I do
Or
think you
isn't there
can
isn't there
actually,
more of a like preferential, like, oh, I like these people, this is why they're my friends in a sense?
well, I don't know. Can you always choose your friends? You can to a degree. I mean, but sometimes,
Well,
right?
Brett,
Sometimes,
as the old adage goes, you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. this is
exactly.
this is old wisdom, man. We know we can pick our friends.
No, but I guess what I mean is if my world is, let's say, the job I work, right? And that becomes all encompassing, takes up all of my time. And I develop these friendships, and then these people say, hey, you want to go out after work? And it's like, well, these people are the people I spend the most time with, and I kind of like have developed this bond with them, and therefore, yeah, I can get along with them. I don't even always agree with them, but yet, I'm already comfortable there, right, with them because I know them that well. So it's like for me, those people that I work with, they may not be very healthy for me. but because I'm comfortable with them and I don't have to challenge myself at all in it, you know, I choose to go to a bar or hang out with them outside of work because it's an easier path. So like with the people at church, I'll give you a small example. I had a woman that was very disagreeable, not just with me, but like even my mom, you know, and I was trying to explain to her, like, I kind of see her different than you see her, you know, and now they just don't really, you know, it just doesn't work. Their relationship doesn't work. But because I share the theology and the school with her, I have a different relationship with her, and I'm able to see her and see special things about her that my mom could never see. But because I've spent so much time with her and invested in her, you know, and then when she had a leg injury, I'm like putting her scooter together for her, you know, and it's like, you know, if you were to ask her, she would say, "Are you friends with Brett?" She would definitely consider me a friend. But rewind to when we had that disagreement and we just didn't see eye to eye on everything, and that was all we saw, then we would say no. We were just being cordial to each other to a you know, a degree. So like my interaction with some of the people at church, the longer I'm there, the more time I spend with them, my judgment gets corrected because I can see more of their picture, and it really helps me engage them. Like one part of our conversation that kick this off was that if I go to church more, this is just me, the longer I go, the more I get to know these people, the more I give certain people grace from the initial judgment I might have had of them. So it allows me this opportunity to see them differently. And then I even, you know, trust them a little bit more and give them a little bit more of me. And then they see that and they're able to trust me more and give a little more with me. And so this relationship, this, you know, even though we don't like each other as far as like a personality thing, there's something different that happens that we give grace over that personality, that initial thing that I would never be your friend, except for the fact that I know you deeply better than I realized now. And so and it only takes time. It's time, you know, it's like, it just is what it is, you know, and the more I avoid those relationships because they're uncomfortable, I'm going to be isolated. I'm going to be myself. Does that
Yeah,
mean anything?
yeah, no, I think I hear where you're coming from, and I think I've experienced that in different times and in different ways. I have that. It sounds like you have a pretty optimal kind of view on things in a sense, because you know the more you get to know these people, the kind of more reward you get out of it in a sense. You know, like that's kind of what I was hearing, was that like you've come to really enjoy kind of knowing more and more about these people and being more and more around these people, and that there's kind of this mutual um beneficial outcome, like your life improves in some certain way. Um and yeah, you know, I don't want to get too boomer or too boomery, too doomery on the, you know, the the Lord's Day, 4th of July. Uh, uh, praise God. I was watching American Edits last night on social
Hey, can I
media,
take a
way too
quick
late.
poll? Can I take a quick
Yeah,
poll?
yeah, take a poll.
Would you guys be okay if I let Claire into the conversation?
This is your channel, Brett.
No, I just want to know, like, at the end of the day, I
I'm
understand our
down with it.
conversation and I understand how she tries to steer the conversation. So I'm just being hospitable to the people that are already in the room.
I-
All right, that is the boundary, though. It's like we get, you know, stay on topic. What we're talking about: friendships,
well,
engagements.
she promises to stay on. She promised to stay on topic, so I'm down for her to come in. But Matt,
All right.
Matsy and I are one of the more open TLC members. But before Claire goes, I wish McMahon would come back because I did want to. Because what you're saying, Brett, I too have experienced. Of course, we have. I think Matsy would also say the same thing about some of the church and church communities that he's been a part of. But I do still take seriously the question McMo's asking because having been a part of said community, there are times when you can tell that the joy of the Lord, and that phrase is so particular because if you're into Christian world, you know exactly what he's talking about when it says the joy is the joy of the Lord, um, based on just when you're feeling your best, which is a different. I think I don't remember exactly how I put it, but that's sort of the sentiment because there are the in modern Christian culture, there's not enough room left for lament and for weeping with those that weep. Modern evangelical culture is way more on the praise the Lord side than the Lord, why me Psalms. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I think there's some fakeness to everything to a degree, right? I mean, but like I was saying initially when I started this stream, is that when I engage the people at church, that not all of them find the things we in the TLC like talking about. And so it's like I become a gonging clanging gong that no, it's like I don't really want to talk about
exactly.
this.
And to that point, is it beneficial? Is it right? Is it the right stance that instead of making friends with those people that don't want to talk about the things that you want to talk about, we spend all our time making friends online.
Well,
That's
they're
a
different friends. That's my point. I mean, like my in real life friends have their benefits, have their advantages, things that I love about them, but they don't share the same thing we share. And so the value hierarchy, if you were going to put it into the vertical, like the way that you guys were talking about earlier, you guys clearly are on a higher level of hierarchy to me because I would prefer to talk with you guys about the stuff we like talking about than sometimes locally about the things that they're only wanting to talk about. Now I'm fine with that, but I also can enter a space and be considerate to the fact that these local people don't have the bandwidth to talk about some of this stuff. And I can respect that. But I
Yeah,
yeah.
also
That's
can, you know what I
there's
mean?
a thread I kind of want to pull on here, which is there is a sense in which preference is kind of always at play, whether we want it to be or not, in some sense. But then there's also when you try to think of this on the individual level, real differences occur because of personality and because of life experience. So and I'm hearing you, Brett, and
yeah.
I'm thinking about your rando and the extent that I know about your life, and all of this is making like so much sense. And then when I think of myself, and this is something me and my wife have talked about, and me and my parents have talked about, but you know, when I was back in Savannah, one of the reasons we moved from Savannah was because we just knew way too many people. We knew like your Dunbar number or whatever is supposed to be like maybe 200 max. We had probably about 1,000 people each, me and my wife, that were kind of that thought of us as like close enough friends to where if we were like out and about, we needed to like spend at least 5 minutes to talk with them. And some of that has to do with like the honor shame stuff that Matt C was talking about. Some of that has to do with kind of prolificity and popularity and et cetera and
Yeah.
so forth. But uh so I come to these kinds of conversations with a, whether I like it or not, a kind of unique outlook. And then it's also matched with a pretty pessimist view on the human condition, And so I tend to kind of have the experience of the longer I get to know someone, the more they aggravate me. Um, and some of that is my immaturity and my kind of irritability, that I've been dealing with. But also it's not like that's always a bad thing either, right? Like and it's also not like it's not mutual, especially with my wife, right? Like that's one of the things that makes my relationship with my wife so special is that like of all the people on earth, I probably know how evil she is more than anybody else besides myself, maybe. And she's my favorite person, you know. And so I feel very blessed to still, you know, get to hang out with my favorite person all the time. Anyway, all that to say, like, so much of our preferences have to do with our personality and our kind of placement, to put them in P's, to be like a Jean Vervaekean. But when we talk about it philosophically, or we want to talk about it theologically, that's when I think perhaps we move from talking about things that we actually know about to things that we're kind of speculating about, and that's where I get a little itchy. Also, this is the first time I've ever been on stream with Claire, and I don't know if anyone is talking, but I can't hear anyone.
First,
I think it's maybe time for me to speak. McMo, Savannah seems a very beautiful place from the episodes of Cape Fear that I've seen. I don't know if you watched it. Maybe
No.
not.
I didn't see that one. No, missed that one. But yeah, a lot of stuff gets filmed down there because of the beauty and because they don't get taxed like they do in California. Forrest Gump also shot there.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to link the subject of friendship with propositional tyranny, but I suppose I was so annoyed about that because it just means, do you believe in the things that I believe in? And basically, are you the same religion? Do you share my beliefs and values and principles? And that, I think, usually makes up what we call friendship. And you know, people can say, I couldn't possibly be with friends with, you know, blah, because they do this or they believe that. But I think online we kind of have labels that maybe we don't really believe in. Like, you know, I noticed that in political parties, people don't really want to discuss political theory. In churches, people don't really want to discuss theology. And so we come here to talk about these things because we share the same interests, even though we don't quite agree. And I suppose a common thing that draws us together is, you know, having some kind of view on politics, which is linked to morality, which is linked to religion. Am I wrong, Teo?
Yeah.
Oh, how am I wrong?
There is nothing that. Anyway, I'm not going to engage. I will say that I think so. Your framing is that the link between propositional tyranny is the thing that we care about is politics and religion and our belief system, and that's what draws us together.
Well,
Correct.
there's a separate aspect to religion, which is spirituality, and now we come to the meaning crisis, and then we have to define what we mean by meaning. What's the meaning of meaning and meaning crisis, and I think it's basically the idea that things are not fair. That is, so you could say it's the fairness crisis. Or you could say atheism and feminism and liberalism is not really about the society we want.
We're getting into the clear talking point. Matty, what says you?
Does this line of argument work at tea parties?
Well, I try to avoid these topics at tea parties, but since I'm here...
I don't know the social mores of a tea party, to be honest. It's fascinating to me that the British that you guys stop for tea. Like there's very few things in America that we have like that, where we just kind of stop everything and just kind of do something together. You know, maybe there's I don't know. You're not the first person in the world to ever say that like friendship is a political act. You know, the first people I ever heard say that was actually like some like Marxists. You know, and they were concerned that friendship was a kind of that it was a hazard to the communist utopia, because friends are more likely to kind of cut each other deals and let each other get away with things, and so that a friendship was actually a very dangerous thing politically, and you could make a conservative argument for that too. I think where like because whenever there's friendship, there's preference and there's partiality and there's corruption is what that leads to, right? Um, I don't know. I wonder what you think of that. I could also think of somebody like Ayn Rand basically just being like, friendship is a kind of lie you tell yourself that someone else is looking out for you, and you need to conquer and remember that that the Nietzschean Ubermensch does not have friends. Like, so yeah, I don't know. What do you make of that, Claire? Is everything political? Is we can't we when even the Tea Party and our friendship? And I'll tell you about a political Tea Party. How about the Boston Tea Party, where we kicked you funny accent mother effers out of our country for good?
Okay,
Well,
so now you're gonna have me and Claire on the same team.
yeah, well, I'm a Republican, so I'm happy about that. I wasn't for a while. For a while, I was even a monarchist, but I've seen the error of my ways. So on the question of what were you saying before you started talking about the Boston Tea Party?
Yeah, I
The
give you a lot to
definition of
work with.
friendship. Um,
Choose your own
some
adventure.
people in politics, certain people are called fellow travelers. So they say you're a bad person because we know you're a fellow traveler, and then they cite this evil person and they put you in that category and then say you're a fellow traveler with that person, and with the metaphor of going towards a destination that no one sensible or nice would want to go to. But that's the nature of politics. We diverge from each other, which is why religion is so important too. So that you can say, well, in this country we do this and we believe that, and and our values are whatever.
Isn't it you correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it Plato's Republic that starts with the question of like what is justice? And one of Socrates' like idiot friends or whatever, probably Glaucon. I hate that guy, Glaucon. He's like he says something like, well, justice is kind of like doing good to your friends and doing ill to your enemies. And so it's interesting that even in the if I'm remembering it correctly, even in once you get down to kind of the questions of like what is justice, there you seem to have this kind of concept of friendship and what does that mean? And actually you could help us out too, because I was just going through the religions, and I know there's lots of friendship in the Old Testament. There's lots of Christ calls his disciples, I no longer call you servants, I call you now friends. What's the Islamic? What is there a category of friendship in the Quran, or is friendship a secular mode?
Well, there are references to who you should take for friends, and there is unfortunately a reference, but I don't think it's fatal that Muslims should take Muslims for friends, and but in the end, Muslim men are allowed to marry non-Muslim women, provided they are people of the book, i.e. Jewesses, Christians, and Muslim women of any race. So,
well, is marriage
is
marriage seen as a friendship? So, well, what's the connection between the marriage and the friendship? Is there is there meant to be a understanding that those are similar things, or why is the marriage one? Because I guess I don't see it like friendship in my mind seems well. I'll put it this way. The idea that you would be married to someone you are also a friend with seems like a pretty newfangled, like Western idea. I would have been shocked if that was kind of linked in the Quran. That would be very interesting to me.
Well, the Quran actually warns men against their wives and their children, and says that your wives and your children could be an enemy to you. But curiously, it says Allah.
That sounds like you on Dawn Patrol. Sounds like you on Dawn Patrol.
But I think the idea is that we have to be loyal to our principles and judge our friends and spouses and children according to how well we've been able to share the principles are supposed to share and impart.
That's
yeah. I have a pretty pessimistic view on the human being's capacity to make and set standards and keep standards for himself or herself. But I did want to ask you. I sometimes, not publicly or anything, but I practice impersonating you because I think you have a very interesting voice, and it's very fun for me to like kind of make arguments in your voice. And one of
Let's
the
hear it.
arguments, yeah, and so but it's funny because you brought up the warning the husbands, and that's like something I think I would do. And so here it goes. Let me see if I can get there. Uh, Sometimes my voice needs to be a little more warmed up, but let's see. Um, you men need to watch out for your wives and your children too.
That's
Okay.
Something like
insane.
that.
That's what you sound like to him, Claire. That's crazy.
Well,
So now that
I'm
I've done,
relieved that it's not even in my accent, let alone my voice. But yes, it is.
it's pretty close, I think. We'll let the hive mind decide. I think I nailed it.
I think
What the fuck was that?
All
you
right,
know what,
I have to go refill my coffee, so I'm gonna mute for a while.
you
Also,
know
I
what's
think I might not be able
awesome?
to hear Tayo, so I'm going to just I'll leave and come back.
Okay. You know what's awesome, Claire? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Can you hear
Brett.
me, Claire?
I can hear you loud and
Yes,
clear.
Oh,
Claire.
crap.
Claire is speaking. Oh dear, we've lost Brett as well. Wait, am I still coming through for anyone?
Yeah,
Have I
yeah.
lost the
It's
plot?
just the two of us, Teo.
It's the British takeover, lads. We did it on Independence Day. We got the Americans off the stream, and now it's the secular Quranist and the Nigerian Christian representing Britain.
But I mean, with a friendship thing, it's like we don't even know our own minds, right? We call people friends when we're not really sure that they are friends, but we say a friend to make it seem that we've got lots of friends,
Hang on,
don't we?
Brett's back. Brett,
Can
you
you
were
hear
saying
me?
something before the takeover. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, we
Can you hear
can.
me? Okay.
I know the right way around.
Yeah. So, what was awesome? Hold on. Let me see if there's anybody trying to get in. No. Mecmo. Add to stage. Okay. So what had happened was I was trying to say one of the things I value the most about you, Claire, is that you have not just the stick-to-itiveness, because I do, believe it or not, value it. I value that you have a sense of humor. I love that you like when I did the videos and stuff, I was trying to come up with videos for pirates and everybody and having their ship and everything, and I kind of put it on pause and threw the video out there, and it was all for fun, and you, and even you just with the Macbeth stuff. I love that you enjoy having fun, and that's like the thing that I isn't that crazy? Like I would love that the most about you.
Well, thank you for saying I have a sense of humor. I think that's very important, to be able to laugh at oneself and think of mocking things to say about ourselves before others say it.
I
Yeah,
don't think you can find a way to mock yourself worse than McMo's accent just did. That was crazy. That sounds like what your accent should be for the witch in Macbeth.
yeah. You can steal my impersonation of you, Claire, anytime. But I basically use that voice when I think my friends are being a little too effeminate, when they're basically letting the feminists win, and I have to pull out the Claire Call voice and say, "What are you doing, men of the West?" I am going to borrow the voice of a allegedly racist Asian British lady and call you on your effeminacy. Rise up, men of the West.
He uses Claire's voice impression to nanny us.
Yep, I got to keep these guys in line.
Yes, maybe there should be a code word or something, a safe word for I don't know.
You're losing your touch, Claire. We're not using safe words around here. That's a liberal, modernist bullshit thing. We're not You've lost your touch. You've gone soft on us, Claire. You've gone soft. Claire's wanting us to use safe words now, folks. The corner's over. It's over.
There's a nice little entry about safe words on Wikipedia.
End the stream. Or someone else come in to save the stream.
Claire, how has How has the Macbeth? Have you recorded any of your scenes for the Macbeth yet?
I think so. I don't have to go back again, which is nice. So I've done all my scenes, and it's all
Oh, you're
been
wrapped.
beautifully organised by David.
Yeah.
But he might. I think he's still asking for people to do stuff, but I haven't looked.
Yeah.
Well, it's been such a
do that.
long process. I think people have like had life events happen in the making of this. Well, will end up being what, like an hour-long play? Back in the day, you just had to go to practice and then you perform it, and nobody cared and watched. Now you have to like have this multi-international organization, scheduling nightmare. And yeah, Busatil's had a lot on his hands. Sorry, Tayo, go ahead. I've talked way too much.
I love when you and Chad go into that mode of, wait, have I talked too much? No, you haven't. But yeah, I was just going to say that the international coordination's probably been a bigger challenge than I thought it would be. Because trying to get someone in Australia, America, different coast, and England coordinated for the same scene is a tall task. But they said they'll take their time, take as long as they need to get it recorded. And I trust David and Grizz and those guys and Jess.
I didn't even think about that. Because in my mind, I guess I always thought that people were just going to run their lines and they were going to splice it together. But I guess it just from an artistic and theater standpoint, that's just not. It would not come off right. Like hearing somebody's emotion and then someone else comes in and they're not matching the emotion would be probably disjointing.
Yeah,
yes, David's very tactful about trying to get stuff from people when they've done it wrong and read it wrong.
Well, I'll give you guys two insider infos. Yeah, I'm a little bit on the inside peripherally. I don't want to give away my position too much, but two things that are right along with what you guys are saying. Yes, David is very tactful and good at getting people to do stuff. He still has something he told me he was going to do for me and for my album that's like almost finished, basically, that he didn't do. So this is some public pressure on Busatil to do the thing that you said you'd do for me. But no, he's got his hands full. It's fine. It's whatever. But the second thing is, and I think this is a little navel-gazy for my taste, but it's worth it for the joke, which is this production really does have like a pretty balanced mix of autists and artists. And that's kind of why there's so much pre-production, production, and post-production at work, because there's a lot of nerds who care about it being an interesting piece of art. And so I'm very pleased, not even being that involved, that there's like all of these people participating. Claire's wrapped. Wow, she's already gotten her stuff done. That's crazy. Grim Grizz is Macbeth. I think it's kind of weighing on him too. There is that kind of curse, but heavy lays the crown, as they say. So yeah, fun things are happening. Anytime I get down on things, I should just remember that there's this merry band of nerds making a avant-garde production of Macbeth for a very small audience. It's great. It's great.
Only the performers, I suppose. So
NDP.
But Mo, before I forget, are you in music production?
Yeah. That's my that's my gift, I guess, is making sounds and music and stuff like that. So, yep.
What's your genre? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, no, I can say it. No, I can say it. I mean, it's I would make probably like avant-garde, experimental, hyper pop. That's probably the closest thing to it.
Oh right, dance music.
I make a lot of Grim Grizz's brandings.
Okay.
So, yeah, some of that weird stuff. It's very weird. It's very psychedelic. You think that I use a lot of drugs when I really don't. I just I'm mentally ill.
Okay.
That'll do it.
Right.
Mark D. Parker. How's it going, lad?
It's going. I'm back at the ER with my daughter. We had to call her.
Dude.
Paramedics. They're talking surgery at this point.
Oh,
but
wow.
We'll see.
Sorry to hear it.
Yeah. It's back issues?
Yeah, back surgery, which is like a complete, gamble, right? It's
well,
like notoriously unpredictable results.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember us talking about this or if I'm misremembering us talk about this, but my family has similar back issues as your family. You know, we've got too much spine for our torso, basically. And
Right.
so I lucked out with the full torso, but I do look like Yogi the Bear. My sister, on the other hand, she did not get the full torso, but she still got the full spine. So she had really bad scoliosis as a young girl. And I think like maybe 8 or maybe 9 or 10, somewhere around
Yeah.
like a preteen. She had to get the 2 metal rods all the way from the
Oh,
tip, like
jeez.
from L something to S something, you know?
Right.
And so, but now, and this story has a conclusion, but so now, you know, she's like 4 years younger than me, so I think that makes her what, 28, and she's having back issues again, but she lives out there near you, and
Right.
so our family recently found out that like of the top 5 best back surgeons in the world, maybe particularly for her scoliosis issue.
Hmm.
But I think if I remember what my dad said, generally, like all the best all the best spine doctors in the country are basically in Southern California. And so
Mm.
she got we're still waiting on her surgery. I think it's going to be probably in a month or two. But yeah, she's having a surgery. But I found out that like all the best back surgeons are over there, and I had that thought when I heard about your kid and PVK's thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's hard. It's for sister. It's
I mean,
the thing. It's when it becomes right now. It's a kind of a crisis. Her legs
Yeah.
are going numb, and so she's
Yeah.
afraid.
Well, and
We
I didn't
don't know
expect
what's going
that
to
to
happen.
assuage any of the anxiety. You know, I'm with you on that for sure.
No, it is what it is, right? You just don't know what you know. I don't know. It's part of it too is it becomes a feedback loop, right? I mean, it's just a cycle where because it affects all of your other life decisions, you know, and it slows you down, and it doesn't, you know, you can't
It
take
affects your
care of
mood
yourself
too.
physically. It affects everything, you know,
Yep.
and so so we'll see what's happening. Well, I mean, you know, God willing, it'll work through and you know, give her a new lease on life one way or the other. You know, I
Have you
tend to be
considered?
go ahead.
Have you considered the possibility that it's a punishment for your sins?
I don't think karma works that way.
Are you all sacrificed up, Mark?
I'm not
trying to be.
I'm not that Bronze Age in my religion.
I'm like literally quoting Job's friends.
I've walked away. Yes, I don't participate in your Levant what is it, Levantine value system that goes back
I don't know,
to
Mark. Sounds like you must have done something wrong.
yes, your ancient Babylonian religion. I have no use for it.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm
problems
Hindu,
don't fall from the sky, Mark.
Buddhist. We've moved on. We've moved on. We found a third way.
Who sinned, this child or her dad?
You know nothing of the kingdom of God.
Where were you when I created the universe?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. I mean, the sky god will tell you all kinds of things. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Even if he takes away your whole spine, he can give you a new spine. That is actually, I think that is a possibility. You know, that's a new heavens and new earth maybe type of thing. But I don't want to get too optimistic on 4th of July now that Mark's here. You know, hey, watch out. God forbid. God forbid.
Oh yeah, there's no black and there's no red, white, and blue in my house, man. We're hanging black outside the door of
you
for our
California liberal. I can't
4th of July.
You California liberal on 4th of July, Mark. On 4th of July.
If you blow up fireworks in front of my house, I bring out the hose.
You got to remember everything that is American, though. Jazz music, Mark. You're going to throw out jazz music?
Yeah, brought to you by slaves. Brought to you by slaves, the descendants of slaves.
Freed slaves.
Oh, the glass darkly.
Enjoy your liberty on the backs of the oppressed.
These California Buddhist liberals with their. I thought suffering was
cultural
caused by
Marxists. I haven't heard that one in a while.
I
Go
thought
ahead.
suffering was caused by desire, and now you're telling me it's caused by slavery? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, why would you enslave somebody if you don't need to enslave anybody if you've discovered reality? Why would you need to? You only take from somebody something that isn't yours if you think you have some need. But once you realize you don't have that need, you don't need to take.
Well, that explains the suffering of the slave owner, but it doesn't explain the suffering of the slaved, and it doesn't explain the suffering of us right now still having to suffer it.
Well, but see, you're just telling yourself stories, man.
Don't tell me that. I'm the one
No, I mean,
celebrating.
you can. Well, what, celebrate what? What are you celebrating?
I'm celebrating the nation of the United States of America.
Okay.
My heritage, my culture, where God placed me in time and space.
Mhm.
With all of the muck, with all of the mess. 'Cause I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Okay. I'm not
And
stopping you. I'm not stopping you. Go for
You're
it.
triggering Mark right now singing that song now. Come on.
No,
I'm not
no.
triggered. I am completely not triggered. I am not.
I'm old enough.
I'm completely disinterested.
I'm old enough to remember the Diwali controversy. And so you're not going to take
Diwali.
away the 4th of July from me, Mr.
Is this still a
Diwali
bit?
man.
Diwali? I don't. I'm missing that one. I can't remember the connection. Oh, is that the Indian thing? The Indian holiday?
You don't remember? You made us think about it. You made us think about it, Mark.
I just had fun, is what I do. I just have fun. That's all I was doing.
And you have that right.
It was a really nice. It was a great thumbnail, as I recall.
Yeah, I do remember. It was a nice thumbnail, but that was a big controversy, and you were sticking up for the Indian Americans' rights to celebrate their holiday. And I'm saying, I'm celebrating the people. I'm celebrating the people in the place that made it possible for you to make the argument that which I agree with, that the Indian people should celebrate Diwali. Because I'm proud to be an American, where at least I'm better.
I think
than
everybody should
Clarity.
everybody should be able to do what they want to do. Have your Pride Day too.
Hell
Have
yeah.
your Pride Day in church with a rainbow Eucharist.
Whoa.
Make it red, white, and blue. Make it rainbow.
Hey,
I don't care.
Hey, how about we start with patriotism, and then we can get to all your highfalutin, crazy liberal ideas from the West out there.
To do what? What do you want to do with patriotism?
I want to be grateful to God for the authority structures in which He's placed me in, and the fact that I can experience the world and hear firsthand testimony as to why it is a better place to live here than it is other places. And I can be very grateful, and I can turn away from my disgust sensitivities and my irritability, and I can be grateful on at least this national holiday, where me and my compatriots of the greatest nation on earth, for ill and for good.
Why is this the greatest nation on earth? What's your evidence? Earth is a big place. Why is this 5% of Earth greater?
Because everybody wants to move here.
That doesn't mean anything.
No, it
That
don't.
could be. That doesn't prove. That don't prove nothing.
Well, because every other country on earth is allowed to think that, to be proud of where they come from, and in the time of the World Cup, you know, I think you didn't even establish. You failed to establish that everybody wants to move here. That's not a given. That's not a given. Okay. I'm not. I don't have the polls in front of me, Mark. I don't have the data in front of me. Forgive me. I didn't think I was going to be.
This is hilarious.
I didn't bring my debate material on this, but also, cut me some slack. The greatest country on earth is a colloquialism, so don't hold my feet to the fire that it might not.
Well, it's like saying we're the leader of the free world. What? Who's free? Where's the free world? That doesn't even exist anymore.
Okay, dude. You're harshing my vibe, dude. Why do you Southern Cali dudes have to harsh? You're all about being zen and not harshing vibes until it's the 4th of July.
Okay, we'll talk about something else.
And shoot some guns, and you can't even let me celebrate my culture.
I do find it funny that we had a bar of no politics, and then somehow
McMo started it.
Wait,
Poor Claire is enjoying the fact that we've derailed this right to her topic
wait, did I
of
miss a
cho-
warrant? I'm
of
sorry,
choice.
did I miss a warning
I
or
thought we were having a metaphysical discussion.
I didn't know there was rules against no politics. That's I might have missed a warning or
That's
something. So I
McMo. Blame. That's
apologize.
all of McMo, man. I came in here just to hang out, and McMo brings up politics.
Yeah, it's you nailed me, but I didn't really. I just said I'm happy that it's 4th of July, and you had posted in the comment first, apropos of not quite really nothing at all, that that it was bad. It was a bad thing that it was 4th of July. So
When
don't
did I
give it
say
me
that? When
in
did
the
I say that?
comments,
What did I
brother.
say in the comments? I don't remember saying that in the comments.
Is Mark in the comments? I didn't see Mark in the comments.
This is
I
a
think
long
you
time
read
ago.
somebody
yeah,
else.
there it is.
No,
What'd
it
I
was
say?
you, Mark.
No, tell me what I said though. Remind me.
I'm looking. It was something.
It was more nuts and bolts for sure. That's his new
Yes.
name.
Oh gosh. Now I'm having to pull up receipts. I'm having to pull
Receipts,
up receipts.
McMo. Receipts.
I'm having to pull up receipts on who started it.
This,
Oh my
this
goodness.
is hilarious. This is so funny.
So how's the weather, Tayo? I hear you people are boiling. I hear the UK is boiling away.
I'm boiling.
Well, yeah, you deserve it though. You earned it. You live in the South. You people earned it. You deserve all the hot weather you get. I want to know how the good people of the UK are living. And poor France. I think the France.
You're a freaking loyalist, dude. You wouldn't have lasted 10 seconds in 1776. I'll tell you that much, brother. You're a loyalist.
Oh, this is perfect. This is exactly how American celebration should be.
Exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing.
I can't remember. Was it the Sex Pistols who did "God Save the Queen"? There's a song of theirs that's going through my head, and I think it's the Sex Pistols who did that one. It's a really good one.
But most don't give for the receipt. I know he is.
No, I gave
Look
up.
for that
I don't
receipt,
care.
McMo.
No, I'll be wrong. I'll be wrong. I'd rather be a patriot in the wrong than whatever the hell Mark is trying to be in the right.
Well, that's what was that? Just kind of was PVK's and Marcus's logic is, it's yesterday during the live stream about religion. It doesn't matter if you're right. It's just if it works. You can,
Bro, go eat a cheeseburger, man. Go eat a hot dog.
I don't have time. I'm over here. I'm in a hospital. You know what hospital food's like. I'm just walking around because my daughter fell asleep for a while.
You know what?
I'm trying to stretch my legs.
To be fair, you are having to deal with maybe perhaps the worst part about being an American, which is the medical system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I will say,
completely.
Mark, I'm trying to be as whatever you want to call me. I will say I definitely am praying for the surgery to be successful and it be a surprising joy, because I know that everybody I talk to back neck surgeries, it's either one and a single adjustment after and it's successful, or it's an endless cycle of surgeries. So I get the balancing act of how it can work. And so I am praying for that super duper outcome,
Thank you.
to resonate, to try to bring up my Ron Cooperman.
Thank you. Yes. I appreciate that. Amen. Did I lose you guys?
Nope.
Still here?
No, you're still here, brother. It's always good to bring out your inner Ron Copperman.
Yeah, and I like that you came on. I really do.
Yeah, this is the first time I've been on your channel. I've noticed it. I've seen it pop up in my feed. That's good to see. You guys are early though.
By the way, you and Luke are like the first two guys I jumped on with. You were, I think, the second. And you guys were very welcoming and hospitable, and I dig it.
Cool. Try to be until McMo shows up. Starts causing trouble.
He was just joshing.
It brings out the inner nasty in me, you know. I'm angry old.
Don't you dare. Don't you
The
dare
angry
blame
boomer.
that
He
on
brings
me.
out the angry boomer in me. Him and Sartori.
Don't you put that
and then
on
there's
me, Mark
Jacob.
D.
with one.
Parker. Don't you
Well,
put that on me.
I'm going to have to put you into the Jacob Federecci cohort.
Whoa, Mark! It's not that bad.
That's a special. There's a special place for that cohort. So beware. Don't go there, McMo.
You're disrespectful.
so funny.
That is so disrespectful, Mark. That is.
Yeah. That was low blow.
Even if I had been joking before now, the joke would stop right now because now it's serious. We need to settle this like men, Mark.
Two men with bad backs.
Pistols at dawn.
Oh, that's funny. No, I was trying to. I think that Mark's initial comment that set me off was too far back. I guess I could have hallucinated it, but that would, that would bode poorly for how the rest of this day is going to go.
Have you started drinking already, McMo? Is that just already started with your holiday?
No, I was up way too late. This is just coffee. This is just me waking up with some coffee. I'm gonna step away now though, and maybe I will run down to the convenience store, grab a 6-pack of Bud Light just to spite Mark Parker's
Bud Light. Why would you do that to yourself?
To piss you off?
Get a proper beverage. My goodness. I think a kombucha from Sprouts is more palatable than Bud Light.
Of course you do.
Not that I drink kombucha.
Yeah, you would. You Southern California liberal.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. We've always. You can't. If you've been a Southern Californian, you've had to have a kombucha at least once in your life.
The weather's too good there. You start worrying about your gut biome after a while. Well, you never know if you might have to travel out of state and drink their water. That's right. All right. This has been fun. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.
We have someone new in the room.
Well, all the people I wanted to talk to are gone. I thought it would only be fair if McMo would do his impression of Claire, that I do my impression of McMo.
Yes.
But they're both fucking gone. So shit.
Well, for us,
What's up, Sam?
For the rest of us and the audience watching, go on, do it.
Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear.
All right, here goes. I make music that's like techno schizo babble. I make beats of varying time signatures that's so fucking confusing and detrimental to your brain that by the end of the song, every single person listening has either thrown up or drove screwdrivers straight into both of their ears. God bless the USA. I love the fucking 4th of July. I'm going to light shit on fire and blow shit up. Today will be the last day that I have all 10 fingers. Is this an American spirit or a firecracker? I don't know, but I'm going to put it in my mouth and light on fire. Yeah, I'm here to kick ass and get pussy. I'm trying to leave something for you, but no promises. Let's get some. Woo! Thank you.
Oh boy.
What's missed? The only thing missing from that is a pew pew. Shooting. That's very good.
I was really disappointed in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
I was disappointed, man. I was going over the Skyway Bridge, and that's when I lost people, and I wanted to hold my camera up so you could see the view from the Skyway Bridge. It's a pretty awesome view. It's really
That's
high.
the good Lord. That's the good Lord preventing you from recording and trying to get scenic views whilst driving.
Yeah.
You're already streaming.
It's weird though. How are you on the top of a bridge that goes so high and lose signal. What's that about?
It
The
probably, who
aliens that
knows?
supply the electricity, they're afraid of heights. That's it. They're scared of bridges.
Crazy.
You know, if we keep driving during live streams, you know, it's a statistical certainty at some point we're going to live stream an accident.
I have thought about that. I will say though, I mean, I don't really do a whole lot with the phone if I ever do this. Like, I mean, this was a long trip, so I kind of got to ignore the phone completely and just talk, you know, with the exception of hearing a beep and then hitting a button to let someone in. But
Yeah.
it was just a straight shot. It wasn't like, you know,
Well, it doesn't
driving
mean
through
it'll
traffic.
cause it. It doesn't mean it'll cause it. It just means that we just, too many of us are doing it, and at some point we just know that for a fact that something will happen and it'll be recorded for all time on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I, like you said, you know, somebody sees, oh, they do it. I could probably do it. Well, maybe you can't do it. You know, it's kind of like drinking and driving. Everybody thinks they can do it until they realize they can't.
True. I'm gonna go down into the basement of the building, guys. So I'm gonna lose you. So I'll just disconnect now. Thanks for letting me in and talk and
Yeah,
picking
Mark,
on
thanks for
McMo.
stopping in. That was awesome. That was
Thanks for
awesome.
stopping by, Mark. We'll be praying for you.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
guys. God bless. Bye, Claire. Is Claire still with us? Nope, Claire's gone.
Nope.
Bye.
No. See ya. All right, T. What do you think? Should we call it?
Yeah, I think it's time.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you for being. It's nearly 3 hours. Oh my gosh. Yes. I think another World Cup match should be starting soon.
Nice. Oh, it was good. It gave me entertainment all the way across the state. So, all right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.